Good part of the day, my dear digital friends. Anna Dieter is here, as usually unannounced, because I cannot predict what my life is today. I'm really busy working with the students, answering your questions, and so on. This is why I truly encourage you, my dear digital friends, to bring your questions to me. Type it under the videos, type it under my posts. Just make sure that I have your questions so I could address your questions directly. And those of you who know me already and have watched my live streams see that I'm wearing today my hat. It says "Et alone, live stutter-free," and the little icon of our company. It's the icon, the little cross, the spinning cross, the energy that brings people education, awakening, enlightenment, transformation. This is what we're all about. Okay, so here is the topic of today's conversation. I'm going to wait a little bit when people get together. I don't see anybody yet joining me because I haven't been too much online. Yeah, it's 10:23 Eastern time in the morning. And let me see who's here joining me. Nobody. I haven't been live for such a long time. Okay. So let me see if I'm still live on YouTube. Let me go to YouTube. Okay, YouTube is here. It's not even in my choice. Okay. YouTube. Okay, your channel. Uh-huh. Okay, very good. I am live. I can see that I'm live. Great. Okay, I'm going to wave to DNYANUGAYKE. I don't know what your nickname is, but hi, thank you for joining me. So let me repeat again. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about what every person needs to do to never stutter again. Never ever in your life to stutter. And if you do stutter, this simply means that you like it, that you want to keep stuttering. This may sound strange, right? Because who would like to keep making mistakes? Who would like to have people looking at them and just giving this strange look or saying, "What's wrong with you? Why you can't say words the way even young child can?" Right? So the bottom line, I have written a little article about that in description of this video, not on Instagram, but on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and I guess on YouTube. I'm not sure how things work. So the bottom line, I'm going with my, let me see. Okay. Let me turn that. Okay, I turned off the sound in my YouTube. Now I can speak and you are not going to have double audio. Okay, so I do not see any questions. This is why I'm going to go with the topic I have chosen today to talk about. Okay, so let me remind you, if you have any questions, don't wait. Just write it down right here. Okay, where is my... okay, it's right here. Yeah, I see already a couple of people watching me. Great. So let me remind to you that my job, my mission is to spread awareness about the truth, what stuttering truly is, how anyone can get rid of it, or how anyone can continue to stutter for the rest of their lives. Yep, that's the choice you all people who stutter can make. And the choice is right now. And we're going to talk about it. Why some people go through tons of programs again and again. I just finished my teaching of one of my students. It was a 3-day student. I taught him for 3 days. And when he came to me, I was amazed when I heard his story. He was like a very typical person who stutters. He's been stuttering for years. This gentleman lives in Australia and he speaks English, of course, but he's been stuttering for as long as he remembers. And as he was going through his life, he was struggling a lot and he was doing all kinds of things to stop his struggles. He's done a lot. He went to all kinds of programs. He mentioned to me that he has done 3 times the same program called Maguire program. Okay. He's done it 3 times. He's done all kinds of speech therapists. Okay. He's been through all kinds of speech therapies. And finally, he has come to me. He stumbled on my program almost 2 years ago. He tried, he bought my books, he read them. He has improved a lot his own speaking, a lot. But unfortunately, no books on the planet can help you speak well. No books on the planet can look at you and tell you, hey, look what you're doing. You're not doing it correctly. You got to do it in the other way. Here is how you do it. To show it to you, to demonstrate it to you, and go ahead and mimic it in the same way how all people on the planet are doing it, and even the ones who are not even humans. I talk about it a lot during my live streams. Even a parrot, a stupid bird can speak. A bird can imitate words. A lot of birds are great imitators of human words. Are you aware of that? Why? Birds can speak, can say human words, and you, people who stutter, still believe that you are sick. You are incapable of mimicking, imitating human words with accuracy, with ease, just like all normal people on the planet. This is kind of rhetorical question, but you gotta answer it. You gotta stop. Whenever you come to a speech therapist, whenever you are in front of a post on YouTube, why do you need all kinds of tips, tricks to begin speaking like all other people on the planet or like a parrot? Just ask yourself this simple question. Why? Parrots can say words and I cannot. Why? A little child, young child, 4, 3 years old, can say the word and I cannot. Ask yourself another question. Why is it that I was speaking fine up until I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old? And then all of a sudden, I started making mistakes. Why? As we are growing older, we are becoming smarter, aren't we? We are learning to do things better and better, right? So why? Your speech is getting worse, not better. Why? Maybe it is something that you are doing is not correct. Maybe it is something that you are doing incorrectly causes you to make mistakes or to stutter, to stammer, or whatever you call it? Huh? Have you ever asked yourself this question? I get a lot of questions when people come to me and say, I speak just fine when I'm alone. I speak just fine when I'm with my friends, but whenever I'm in front of Mr. Smith or whatever, I cannot speak well. Something is blocking me. I cannot say the word. The words just won't come out whenever I am in a certain situation. A lot of people who start to believe I cannot speak because of the situation. People do not wait for me. People don't understand me. Yeah, that's true. People do not understand stutterers because this is really strange. If even a bird cannot speak, if even a young child can speak, normal people can't understand why. You do all kinds of dances instead of simply moving your tongue according to the natural ringtones that all people on the planet are moving their tongue. Why can't you do the same? Why? People don't understand, and people will never understand that unless they are speech professionals. And I'm not talking about in general speech professionals, unless they are etalon speech masters. Etalon, this word stands for standard, normal, perfection. Unless they are the perfect speech masters. I'll put it in this way. If you want, you can Google the word etalon and see what it means. Okay, someone just wrote to me, Luna Bell 504. Hi, good to see you here on Instagram. I got a question. Help me get rid of this stuttering. Great request. But before I can help you, you gotta make a choice. You gotta make the right choice. This is very important to understand. Choices we make in our life make our life. Okay? Build our life. We live according to the choices we make. Luna Bell, I hope you understand me. Hi, Ritu the Believer. Ooh, great nickname. Ritu the Believer, you just joined. Welcome to the only place on this planet where you can finally solve any problem that you have with your communication. Hi, Rito. Yeah, I see your hi. So if you want to solve your problem, communication problem, if you truly want to stop stuttering, this is the only place where someone like Anna Dira can explain to you what is it that you need to do to stop believing that you are sick, that you cannot change your life. You cannot speak like all people on the planet or even like birds. That you are not smart enough, that you are not good enough, that you are whatever, unfortunate, that you are this and that. But the bottom line that you are a victim. You are a victim. It's not your fault, and you depend on other people for doing things. This is why people who start to walk around everywhere, help me, help me, help me. I understand you. Of course, you want help because you still believe that you cannot do it yourself. You still do not understand that just like walking, anyone born with the legs can learn to move their legs in the way one leg in front of the other one. Anyone can do it. Okay? But Some people may believe that something is wrong with their legs. Just imagine you are born. Hi, Kandagelkiran. Ooh, hard to read your name. But hi, good to see you here. Thank you for joining. So imagine you are born with normal body. Everything is perfect with you, which is 99.99% of people who stutter. They're all born normal. They have a perfect body, right? They have a natural talent to learn to speak like everyone else on the planet. So imagine you are born normal, but the moment you are going to begin learning to walk, you get on your legs, you begin attempting to move your legs, making first steps. Someone would come to you and say, "No, you can't walk. You may fall. No, no, no. Don't walk. Here is the walker. Here is walker. Just lean on it. Or here is a stick or a cane. You can't walk on your own." Imagine that. You can't walk on your own. Would you learn ever to walk? Would you ever learn to move your legs? No, you would not. And this is exactly what has happened to all people who stutter at some point of their life when they became conscious already. It may happen 3 years old, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. It doesn't matter when. The moment a person believes that he cannot walk in speech on his own independently, simply using his tongue. This is your leg. This is your speaking leg. And just like walking using your physical legs, you need to move your legs and learn coordination, how to walk, right? Without falling down. This is what you need to do to learn to move your leg in your mouth. It's called the tongue. But because no one helped you learn this, no one. Every time you would come to a speech therapist, you would go to the YouTube video, you would look at other sources of misinformation. Every time you go there, you see what? Stuttering is mysterious condition. You cannot do anything. You have to accept it. And we have to spread the awareness about stuttering. People need to understand that there is nothing a person who stutters can do. It's a handicapped condition. Don't laugh at people who stutter. Don't give them looks. Hire them to work, to do the job, to make phone calls, to communicate with customers, right? Hire them to do the job. Dear people who stutter, my dear digital friends, hi, Misuru. Thank you for joining. Understand that this is a fantasy that doesn't resonate with reality. No one will ever hire a stutterer. If the job is to make phone calls, if the job is to communicate with customers, if your job requires any amount of speaking, oral communication, no one will hire you. And this is not because people are mean, because people need, employers need someone who can do the job and who can do the job the best way possible. Okay? Just notice that I didn't open my blinders. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. I'm going to open because it's pretty dark here and I'm afraid you can't see me well. Give me 1 second. I'm going to open the blinds. Okay. No, this one. Uh-huh. Okay. I like natural light. Okay, hopefully it's gonna be a little bit brighter. Is it better? I don't know. I think it's a little more light, natural light. Okay, so I see that a few people just joined me, and I truly encourage you guys, write your questions. Write your questions. The stupidest question is the one that never asked. If you do have a question, what stuttering is, why do I stutter, how do I get rid of stuttering, what do I need to do, where I should go first, what is my next step? Anna, help me. Anna, what should I do? I don't see you writing this kind of requests or recommendations. I don't know why. Maybe you do like stuttering. This is the title of my today's live stream. People on Instagram cannot read the title, but on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, you can see it says stutter if you want to. If you want to stutter, you can stutter. But if you want to speak well, then switch your desire. Get the desire to speak well. Forget about stuttering altogether. Forget about it because it's a big fat lie. It's simply a whole bunch of mistaken use of your beautiful, perfect body. You're perfect the way you are. You simply don't know how to use it correctly for speaking, for accurate speaking, for speaking without mistakes, and speaking with perfection and ease. Ease. See, again, I'm going to point to the icon on my head. You don't see the words over there. I need to do another head. But today I have a bad hair day, so I decided to wear my hat. So you gotta understand you're perfect. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You simply haven't developed your speaking skills yet. Of course, you can speak well sometimes. You're not a 2-year-old child, 3, 4. You're older than that. This is why, of course, you can speak sometimes. But I'm going to take it back because some of you cannot speak even alone. I have worked with this kind of students. They would come to me, sit in front of me, and when I ask questions, they go like this. Um, um, Believe me, I have worked with this kind of people. These are people who simply don't have any percentage of speaking skills. They haven't developed it yet. But even this kind of students, at the end of the very first day, would begin speaking well. Not perfect yet, of course. It would be very slow because there are no brain connections, no neurons built in the head if you do it in only one day. But they are already beginning to move their tongue correctly. And guess what? The words are beginning to come out with no problem. Do you see what I mean? Do you understand me, guys? Okay, let me see if there are any questions here. Okay, Instagram people, there is no cure for stuttering. Yes, you got it right. Now ask the next question. If you're still here, there is no cure for stuttering. Mysuru. MYSURU_17KTM. This is the nick. This is the profile name. So yes, there is no cure for stuttering. Let's ask the question, why there is no cure? Can you answer that question? Why there is no cure for stuttering? Why? Can you write to me? Why? You're not writing anything. I'll go ahead and answer. Because there is no such a sickness. There is no sickness to cure. You're not sick. This is why there is no cure. Of course, you can see this sentence everywhere. There is no cure for stuttering, period. Yeah, but there is no such a sickness. This is why there is no cure. I agree with this statement. So, what is stuttering? This would be my next question. What is stuttering? Because, yeah, whenever I speak, for some reason, I stumble. For some reason, I move my eyes like this and go like, ah, and I cannot say the word. Why? Why? Fear. Great, great, great word you wrote. Maisuru. I don't know if I'm saying correctly your nickname. Yes, fear is a big part of it. But the next question is, what do I fear? Why am I fearful? What is it that I am fearful of? Write to me the answer. What do you fear? What do you fear? Write to me while we are still communicating here. And I don't see any other questions because I haven't been live for a whole month and I didn't advertise. Okay, what do you fear? What are you afraid of? Misuru wrote yes. So write to me, what are you afraid of? I'll tell you. I know what you're afraid of. You are afraid of making mistakes because you believe that when you make a mistake, this is the indication of a sickness. This is a symptom of a sickness called stuttering. You are afraid of making mistakes. You are afraid of stuttering. You are afraid of making fun of yourself when you speak in front of other people. That's what you are fearful of. And what is fear, Maisuru? By the way, write to me. Am I right? Are you afraid of speaking? Are you afraid of making mistakes? Are you afraid of people thinking that you are cuckoo, that something is wrong with you? Are you afraid of judgment, of a bad judgment? Are you afraid of that? Yes, I am graduate, but stuttering big problem. I know I have had a lot of students who would be in your position. They kept telling me, I just graduated from college, but I can't get through the interview. I can't get a job because I cannot speak. Someone is texting me. I don't understand. I don't see any questions here. I don't know why. I hear the noises that someone is texting. Okay, so yes, my Suru. If you are a graduate and you want to speak like all people on the planet, guess what? Yes, you can. But before you can do it, you need to learn to do it. You need to understand what stuttering truly is. It's a lie. It's a big fat lie. It doesn't exist in reality. In other words, if you want to get rid of the word stuttering, you can. But I always recommend substitute word of stuttering, stammering, and stuff like this because people don't understand what it is. To interview but not select a job. Of course, employers don't want you. I'm sorry to bring you a bad news. Employers need good communicators. They don't care what you learned in college because whatever they teach in college is a whole bunch of unnecessary information. I would say 90% of what they teach in colleges, you will never use at your work. you will never use at your work. It's all useless information. 90% of what we learn in any school, it's useless information. I'm sorry to bring you this bad news. But what is very, very helpful is your communication skills. If you are a great communicator, guess what? You can learn any skill to do any job in almost no time. You can do anything if you are a great communicator. If you can speak, you can ask questions, you can call someone, you can ask, you can go and ask questions again, you can communicate with people, you can call your customers, you can communicate with the boss, you can do anything. But if you cannot speak, guess what, my dear? There is no job interview for you. And don't even attempt to go through certain job interviews, the job that requires speaking. You are not going to get hired. I promise to you. And even if you will be able to kind of get through this interview, yes, some people who stutter sometimes may trick the employer. But how are you going to be performing that job? It's going to be a nightmare for you. I just mentioned to you the recent student, 58-year-old man. He's got the job when he was 16, when his speech was still not that bad, but he was just afraid of making phone calls. He's got the job at 16 years old at the bank. And his job was to pick up the phone. He was afraid of doing that, but he learned how to hide it well. And they hired him, a 16-year-old boy. They thought, okay, 16, he's still shy, but he's going to learn. Today, he's 58. And he's still struggling. I mean, he was until he worked with me, of course. Okay? So, and what was amazing, why I mentioned this man, he didn't go through any other job interviews. He got the job at 16 years old. No high college education, no any other education than high school. And at 58 years old, he's still at the same job. He's still doing the same job at the same bank. The same minimum wage. The same. Do you understand me? He never even tried to find another job. He was happy he had a job and he somehow learned to stay at the job. He never applied for any promotions. He never applied for a higher position. He's still there. Somehow he managed to be there. I'm sure he doesn't have to make phone calls. He's probably really good at typing, at doing something. He is a smart guy. But at 58 years old, he's still doing the same job that he was hired to do at 16. My Suru, does it sound understandable? Do you understand what I mean? But if you guys need the job that a high paid job, you need to learn to speak without stuttering. And this is something that you gotta want to do more than anything in your life. Okay, sorry. Okay, I am talented, but communication skills, but no communication skills. Exactly. This is what I am explaining to you guys. Nihasish wrote to me something on Instagram. Very good, Nihasish. Thank you for your message. I'll get back to you. Let me see what someone wrote to me. I am talented, but have no communication skills. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. All people who stutter are talented people. They are born with perfect talents, perfect potentials. But people who stutter have not developed their talents to speak like all people on the planet. They still are kind of little children. Their speech is still immature. They still make mistakes the same as all young children make. And by the way, I'm going to make a note again for you. I want you to take a note. This is another big fat lie. They say that some children stutter when they go through learning to speak. This is a big fat lie. All people stutter. Oops, what's going on? Remind me later. For some reason. Okay. See my computer. I saw that it's starting downloading some program. Okay. So once again, if you want to develop your natural talent for speaking, you got to do it right. At some point of your life, you stop developing it. It could be at 3 years old, 4, 5, 6, 7. It may happen even at 20 years old. I have had students, I remember one came to me and he said, Anna, you know when I started stuttering? During the interview, I came to the interview and I told them that I am a stutterer. Because, yeah, somewhere on YouTube, in some recommendations, he has read that if you advertise your stuttering, then it's going to be easier for you. And he came to the job interview and he said, I am a stutterer. I apologize if I make mistakes. He didn't get a job, but he learned to believe himself that he was a stutterer. And from this point on, from this moment on, he developed a fear of speaking. He stopped speaking himself, stopped himself from speaking. Hi, JK Tutorial, DK Tutorials. Good to see you here. Sorry, guys, I have not been live for quite some time. I was too many students going through the time when I was giving a lot of discounts. September, October, that were the months when I was giving a huge discount the beginning of the school year. Now it's November. The flow of this kind of students stopped and I have time finally to go live. Okay? So I'll get to Niha Sish's question. Hi, Anna. I was a severe stutterer back. I overcame it after I joined speech and hearing and started learning about stuttering. Yes, it can be cured. Niha Sish, I have no idea how you speak today. I don't know. So I am happy that you now don't consider stuttering as a problem. But most of the time when people come to me and tell me, I no longer stutter, I used to stutter, but I don't stutter anymore. Most of the time I see them stutter, still making a lot of speaking mistakes, but they don't care about that. They don't care. They don't care. They keep repeating. They keep stumbling. They go around and around. They say 100 words instead of one word because they choose to say words that are easy for them to say, but they don't care anymore. And that's what makes them believe that they cured their stuttering. Stuttering is not a sickness. It cannot be cured. So Nihasish, I'm glad you believe that you are stutter-free. I'm glad you are. But of course, I don't know you and I don't know what you have done. I joined speech and hearing. I don't know what they did with you. The majority of speech therapists, speech pathologists, and people who do speech and hearing conventional treatment, they don't understand what stuttering is. And they offer all kinds of tricks, tips, crutches. So yes, you may be using crutches and you may be working with crutches, but you gotta understand that whenever a person is working with a crutch, with a cane, people can see it. If you are using all kinds of crutches, any type of a crutch, people see it, people hear it, and people see that you are not speaking well. This is not a perfect speech. And my job is to teach you to be a speech perfect. The speaking should be perfect. And I exercise what I teach. Listen to the way I speak. Do I sound normal? Yeah, my accent, my Russian accent, of course, is still with me. It will never go anywhere. But I almost never repeat. I almost never stumble. I never, not almost, never say shma. I never do this, move my eyes like this. Why? Because I understand what normal speaking is and how my speech instrument is working. I can explain it to you, and then you begin speaking like every human on the planet, and even better, because unfortunately, they don't teach young children to speak in schools. This is why when children grow up, they learn to speak after their parents, after their teachers, after their speech therapists. And guess what? When I was a speech therapist for 30 years of my life, my speech wasn't good. I was still making a lot of mistakes, a lot of them. I was repeating words, I was stumbling, I was going like shma. I was doing all of this. If you're curious, you can go to my first videos that I recorded on YouTube. I never deleted them. Go check how I spoke over 10 years ago. Those YouTube videos are still there. I was bad. My speech was horrible. But I kept learning. I kept learning how normal people are supposed to speak and compare the way I speak today. There is no comparison. I've learned it. I have realized that all I need to do to move my tongue to create ringtones. Forget about single sounds. Forget about syllables. Forget about letters. Forget about sentences. This is all for what? For writing. Letters, syllables, even words, sentences. This is all for writing. And I have a very simple question I'm going to ask you. Guys, what did you learn to do first? To write or to speak? What did you learn first when you were born? What children learn to do first? To speak or to write words? Anybody wants to answer? Of course, we learn to speak first when we don't know any letters, when we don't know anything about syllables. We don't know anything about rules for writing. And guess what? We begin speaking. Yes, Rito, good answer. Speak. Of course. So why do you need to care about any writing rules? And most of people who stutter come to me, and when I tell them, tell me what are the ringtones in this word, what is the first ringtone? They go and name the name of the letter, the name, the syllable in the word. They do all kinds of things that are about writing. When we speak, we don't care about rules for writing, Ritu. This is very important to understand. But unfortunately, speech therapists, speech pathologists have not been trained They don't know about these rules for speaking. Creating ringtones with the tongue, moving the tongue. And when the tongue moves, one movement of the tongue from top to bottom, by moving our tongue I just stumbled, hey. By moving my tongue from top to bottom in our mouth, I know my tongue creates one ringtone. And one ringtone may have from one up to 6 sounds at once. Our tongue produces from 1 to 6 sounds at once. How does it work? Do you know that? No, you don't. No one taught you. Normally, children learn it when they're very young and they don't understand anything. They just learn it practically. They look and listen at their parents. They look, observe the way their parents' tongue works, and they mimic. They imitate just like a parrot. They do it in the same way. This is why people learn, young people, of course, children, learn. And this is what we do for the rest of our lives. You get a job. You come to the first day of your work, your first work day, and your boss comes to you and says, you need to do this project. The project is called, and the boss gives you the name of the project. You have never ever heard this word in your life. And you go, pardon me, what's the name of this project? The boss is repeating the word. You are listening it. You are watching your boss's mouth. And guess what? You are doing what? This word, and you are repeating this word. And if the word comes out correctly, boss says, yes, this is the name of this project. How did you learn to move your tongue so well? Very simple, because you just acted just like a parrot, just like all normal people do when they are learning tongue vocabulary, words with the tongue. You are listening to it, you're watching to the way other people are moving their tongues, and you are repeating it in exactly the same way. Hi, Crafty. Good to see you here. You just joined me. Okay, I don't see more people on Instagram, but there are a few people on YouTube. Okay, so JK Tutorials wrote, in which point, I mean tongue or mouth, where to concentrate while speaking, ma'am? Please suggest me. In which point, I mean tongue or mouth? The tongue. Which point of the tongue? Listen, JK Tutorial, you already have asked me all kinds of questions. How long are you going to be asking questions? Come to me. Join me. At least for free consultation. I don't remember if we had the free consultation. Maybe we have had. The bottom line, when you were 3 years old, even 2 years old, did you ask these kind of questions? At which point of the tongue or the mouth, where should I concentrate while speaking? Did you ask these questions? Of course not. You didn't know anything. You didn't even know you had a tongue. You didn't know you had a mouth. You were just doing, mimicking, imitating the same things that other people were doing around you. Your mommy was doing, your daddy was doing, your siblings were doing. You were just doing it. And then at some point of your life, you stopped it and you turned on your mind. You started asking all kinds of strange questions, very strange questions. In reality, when we speak, we don't care what point of the mouth, what point of the tongue. We just feel that our tongue moves. That's it. Feeling the tongue. It's a sensory connection with our instrument. Sensory. When you are walking and moving your legs, one in front of the other, at what point of your legs you are concentrated on? Didn't ask the question correctly. On what part of your legs are you focused on when you are moving your legs while walking? What point? Answer. Ask yourself questions, guys. Turn on your brain, your thinking caps. Ask yourself questions. Don't believe every weird things you hear from internet. Only strange things they say. Okay, check with reality. Crafty, you still here? Go ahead, ask your questions if you are interested. Ask questions because I am here to answer any of your questions. So, JK Tutorials, once again, if you want to understand what normal speaking is, you got to take at least 1 day of my class, which is 6 hours of my time. After you go through 6 hours of my class, you are never gonna be asking these strange questions. Never. You will understand it. And you will understand it not here, but here. Your tongue will understand it. Our muscles have consciousness. Not a lot, of course, it's kind of meat in our body, but our muscles have memory. Have you heard this muscle memory? Have you heard this expression, muscle memory? This is what we need to develop. And when we speak, before we can move our muscle, we need to develop the muscle memory, the memory of the tongue. And when we have developed this memory, guess what? It never changes. Once we have developed the memory of our legs, we move our leg one in front of another. We never ever focus on certain parts of our legs. We just feel that they move. That's it. Okay, we know how to do it. We've learned how to do it many years ago, and we are doing it. JK, let me know if you understood the answer that I just gave to you. So let me summarize today's class, because this is a class. It's always the class. Yes, you can stutter if you want to. So certain people like Nihasish, he believes that he doesn't stutter anymore. He believes that. He believes that he has cured his stuttering. I am happy he does. If it works for him, good for him. But I don't know this person. I don't hear him speak. I don't know what he has done in his life. And whenever I read this kind of messages, I take it with a kind of, how do they say, grant of salt. I feel that something is wrong when a person is saying this. So if he is saying that, why is he still hanging on the stuttering forums? Why? Because normally when people go through my class, for example, they want to turn this page of their life and never, ever be where stutterers were, where stutterers are. Okay? I recommend just get out of all the stuttering forums. Get out of all the places where you could get a weird recommendation, a piece of disinformation from a person who stutters. Don't communicate with stutterers. This is my recommendation. If you want to communicate with people, if you want to make friends with people who speak well. Then you can learn from them. You can imitate their words, but don't communicate with stutterers. Unless you want to. Unless you want to keep stuttering And this is what we're going to talk. Yeah, JK Tutorials wrote, thank you, ma'am. Absolutely. This is my job. This is my mission. So I recommend you take at least 6 hours of my time, and then you decide whether you want to spend 2 more days with me and make sure that your speech is perfect after the 3-day class. So I don't think I finished the thought. I just came to me. I recommend you substitute the word stuttering with the phrase speech mastery. Hi, speech blobs. Speech blobs, it's a funny name you have. Okay, hi. So instead of the word stuttering, just erase it from your vocabulary. Don't even use it. Say the phrase speech mastery. Speech mastery. If you want to say, I have a stuttering, say, I don't have speech mastery yet. I still stutter. I still don't have speech mastery. That's it. Substitute the word stuttering with the word lack of speech mastery. Write it down for you. Lack of speech mastery. Do you understand the word mastery? So, like, I am a master of speaking. I can call myself a master of speaking. Why? Because I have trained my tongue to move anywhere, anytime, in front of anyone. In the same way, how I've learned it when I was a little child, when I was a little girl. It doesn't change. My tongue is still making the same movements. I'm still creating ringtone after ringtone, ringtone after ringtone. And this is the only thing that our tongue understands. Every time you attempt to speak according single sounds, according to syllables, according to sentences, every time you attempt to speak according to the rules for writing, you will stumble. You will stutter. You will stammer. Please understand this. Okay, so I've been live for almost an hour. So I don't think people are going to sit and wait and watch this live stream for such a long time. But let me again summarize with what I recommend you should do. Here is my simple recommendation. Turn on your thinking cap. Put it on, just the way I put my head today on, okay? Turn on your thinking caps. Begin questioning authorities. You go to a speech therapist is teaching you to do like management, right? Stuttering management. Speech therapist teaches you to blend words. Ask a speech therapist, do you blend your words? Do you teach yourself, train yourself to blend words? Do you do this? Ask this question. If the speech therapist is teaching you, do breathing exercises, immediately interrupt and ask, do you do breathing exercises? My dear speech therapist, do you wake up in the morning and begin doing breathing exercises? If the answer is no, then the next question should be, why should I do breathing exercises? Why should I do monitoring exercises? Why should I do this and that? Turn on your thinking. Question authorities. Begin questioning authorities. May I know what is the fee for 6 hours class, ma'am? Yes, you may. Come to me one-on-one because things change all the time. Come to me and I will give you this answer. I don't like speaking about money in public because it changes. The amount I expect my students invest in their own life, in their own future, changes depending on the situation where we are. For example, for 2 months, September and October, I was offering 50% discount. 50, not for one day, of course, for the whole 3-day course was available for 50% discount. I will never do this. Never. But of course, I was able to help a lot of people, and this makes me happy, of course. But I was really tired of working with so many people. I don't want to teach more than 2, 3 students a month. This is my limitation. 2, 3 students a month. But 3-day class. I want to see my students succeed in 3 days. I want to see the success. This is my slogan. If you go to my website, you will see creating success stories. This is my mission, creating success stories. 100% success. This is what I guarantee with a 3-day class, with each and every student. Of course, it comes with the strings attached. You gotta do what I teach you to do. Turn off. This is the time when I ask my students, turn off your thinking cap and begin doing what I just told you to do. This is a little different from what I was telling you today. Turn on your thinking cap. After the class, stop thinking, begin doing it. Okay. So JK tutorial, come to me personally. You can directly join me on Skype, on Telegram, on anywhere you want. Okay. You can even send a message through YouTube, I believe. I think there is a contact, right? So the bottom line, yes, you can communicate with me directly through Zoom, through Skype, through Instagram. I mean, WhatsApp. There's so many ways. Okay. So my recommendation, you come to me and I will explain everything to you. What's the price, what's the investment amount is, because it is an investment for you in your own life. And of course, because it's only 1 day of my life, it's 3 times less, smaller investment. It's affordable for the ones who work. It's pretty affordable. Okay. As a matter of fact, this coming Saturday, I'm going to teach the lady from Germany. I forgot even where she's from. But yeah, I'm going to teach her just 1-day course. Okay. Because she is also very skeptical. She's not sure. She's a young girl. She doesn't have money. I don't think she even works. I told her, okay, take 6 hours of my time and then you decide. If you're smart, could be enough for you. But if you know you're not truly a great student, you know yourself better. I don't know you, right? I don't know how you were learning in school. If you were an A grade student in school, if you believe you are a talented man and you can understand everything quickly, you get it quickly, you understand, then 1 day may be enough. But if you know that you need a little more time to get it and do it right, then of course, invest in the full 3-day course. If you don't have enough funds yet, there are many, many ways how to gain funds for the course. Some people apply for bank loans, some people apply for credit cards, but most people, and I recommend you do this, apply for additional work. They work. They work. Okay, lots of love to you. If I'm not busy next week, next Thursday, I'm going to be live again. But if I have a student, of course, you won't see me. Lots of love to you. And by the way, don't forget, I keep publishing my podcasts. I'm doing a lot of podcasts now, once a week. And as they sent me the video, I posted it on YouTube. I'm going to do it up until the end of all the podcasts. I think I have invested into 10 podcasts. It's a really cool place to be because there are, I don't know, 4 million people or 40 million people potentially listening to my podcast. And what I like the most, people are calling, asking me questions, and I communicate with them. And these are people who don't even call themselves stutterers. It was so cool. Like last week, there was a pilot called me and asked, I am a pilot, and whenever I'm making announcement on radio, sometimes I forget what I want to say, and I go like, of course. I gave him really cool recommendations. He thanked me and thanked me and thanked me. You got to understand, stuttering don't exist. It's just lack of speech mastery. Once again, lack of speech mastery. You simply are making a lot of mistakes because you still don't know how to use your perfect speech instrument, your perfect tongue. You're not doing it correctly. You're not using correctly your tongue. This is the problem. Okay, JK tutorials. I am an Indian. I am poor working man. I cannot invest huge, ma'am, please. What can I say? I always say the same. Being poor is not a crime if a person doesn't look for a better job. If a person doesn't begin growing, get another job, look for another job, begin making more money. Maybe you need to make more work. Maybe you need to move to the place where jobs are. Maybe you need to do something to get a higher paying job. And I'm not talking about speaking. I'm talking about physical labor. I'm talking about typing labor. I see that you are typing pretty good. You can do all kinds of typing jobs. There are a lot of jobs available today for people who cannot speak. A lot of jobs. Yeah, they don't pay well, but once again, if we want something, do you see what I wrote here? Stutter if you want. But if you don't want, begin doing something for you to get rid of this nightmare. This is how I call it. Stuttering is a nightmare. But again, if you want to entertain this excuse, I am poor, then be there. Stay there. Okay? Keep asking questions that I cannot answer, like this. Okay? But if you come to me one-on-one, of course, I will be able to see what exactly you are doing, and I may direct you. But once again, in order for me to clearly explain to you what the ringtone is, how the tongue moves to create the ringtone, what does it mean to say the word, what does it mean to learn how to say the word correctly by ringtones, from beginning of the word to the end of the word, from start to finish. You gotta have 6 hours of my time. And this is an investment that you need to work to gain money for. And I always ask one simple question. From the scale from 1 to 10, where are you with your desire to speak well? Answer to me, JK. How bad you want to speak like all normal people on the planet? Number 1 is, I am okay. I am a poor guy. I'm okay. I can live my life like this. I don't have to get rid of stuttering. This is number 1. Number 10 is, I cannot take it anymore. I want to speak like all normal people on the planet. I can't take it anymore. I want to get up in the morning and be excited about going, hanging out with my friends, communicating with my coworkers, making a new presentation, calling My new customers making a lot of money. I want to be excited about it. If you are there, then you are on the scale of 10. And I cannot take it anymore when people are laughing at me. I cannot take it anymore when a little girl in the sandbox can say words without stuttering and stumbling or stammering. And I cannot say the word. I cannot take it anymore. I truly want, on the scale of 10, I want to speak perfectly. I want to forget about stuttering. Where are you? JK tutorial. Give me the number. In between 1 to 10. People usually come to me when they are 10. 10. Okay. So Ra wrote to me, Ra, I'm going to call you Ra. Why most of the stammering people have wide tongue? What? And tongue tie. It is real, God. You know what, my dear? This is another lie. Another lie. Wide tongue is the tongue that is not moving. Is my tongue wide? I'm not moving it. This is why it's just relaxed. It's just sitting there. It may look wide, but the moment I begin moving it, I don't care what the shape of my tongue is. And you should not, Ra. You have a perfect tongue. Perfect. Yes, the shape of our tongues may be bigger, smaller, wider, more narrow. It depends on our physiology. But we have the tongue. If you have the tongue, you know what it means? Learn to move it. I also want to tell you one more thing. Go and Google this. Google the pictures of the tongue cut in half. The tongue cut in half. Go and Google these pictures. Okay? There are crazy people who cut their tongues in half or put some piercing in their tongue, bolts in their tongue, all kinds of crazy people. They damage their tongue in all kinds of ways. And guess what? They don't stutter. They still speak. Yeah, in the beginning, it's not easy for them to speak, but the more they get a hang of it, they learn to speak, they learn to move their tongue. They begin moving this weird tongue. Their tongue is like a lizard tongue. Okay? Separate parts of the tongue, but they're still speaking. They don't stutter. Who cares what shape of the tongue is? Doesn't matter. Your tongue, you have the tongue, learn to move it by ringtones. Ringtones. The shape of the tongue is perfect according to the size of your mouth. Young children have smaller tongues. As they grow, the tongue grows, everything grows. If I had a bigger mouth, I have a big mouth actually. Okay, my tongue would be bigger. It's just all kinds of irrelevant information. I don't know where you heard that. And you even wrote, it is real. Yeah. Show me the proof of it. Show me the proof. You got to understand what stuttering is. Stuttering is a bunch of mistakes using the tongue. Underdeveloped speaking skills. The one who still hasn't learned to move the tongue correctly makes mistakes, and they call this person a stutterer, stammerer. Bullshit. It's a big fat lie. Stuttering doesn't exist. Once again, what does exist? Lack of speech mastery. Lack of the skill to use the tongue. Yes. Bad. The tongue looks wide. You just joined me. You didn't see what I was demonstrating earlier. I'm going to repeat. Compare the normal people. You are a normal person. I'm screaming on top of my lungs here and everywhere. You are a normal person, 100% normal. You just don't know how to use your tongue. And one of my students I worked last year, I remember he came to me. I would ask him a question. I would expect him to explain his problems, and he could not explain anything. He had to call his brother. His brother was explaining to me what his problems were. But this is the way this gentleman spoke. Uh, 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 does my tongue look wide? He was using his tongue as a cork. Cork. You know, like cork in the bottle. How do you call it in English? Gag. Gag. This is how he was using his tongue. So what you wrote to me is a big fat lie. All people have the same tongues, bigger, smaller, but it's created and given to us in the same way. It's kind of like this. See my finger. It reminds the same actually like a tongue. This is our tongue. It's one end is free, and at the other end, the tongue is attached to our body. But this end is free, so we could move the tongue up and down freely. And it doesn't matter how big your tongue is, how small your tongue is, you still can learn to use it up and down according to the way all other people do. Okay. Any other questions? Ra, you did ask a good question. Once again, I believe that there are no stupid questions. Stupid questions don't believe. There are people who ask questions based on stupid information they heard somewhere and they believed it. But what can I say again? Stuttering is a big fat lie. It's a lot of confusion. People, all kinds of advisors who deal with stutterers lie a lot because they want you to come to them, keep coming to them, and keep asking questions. Okay, guys, lots of success to you. JK, if you're still here, I'm expecting you to join me through any social media. I will answer your question. Okay, so once again, are you ex-stammerer? Of course I am. Every person on the planet is an ex-stammerer. Every person on the planet, including me. Okay, because all people on the planet are born with empty mind, no memory in the tongue. We don't know a newborn baby can do only what? Ah, ah. See how wide my tongue is, by the way? Ah. This is what all newborn babies are. That's what they're doing. But the more they listen to other people, they watch other people use their tongue, the more they imitate the same movements of the tongue, the more they learn how to imitate words, just like parrots, just like birds. We imitate the words by moving our tongue in the same way how all people do. Okay? This is why the ones who stopped imitating, stopped looking in their parents' mouth, or their parents maybe not good speakers. This also is the case when parents don't speak well, parents maybe even stutterers, right? They say it's genetic, right? So guess what a child learns? A child is learning to imitate words just like stutterers. A child learns to be a stutterer. Okay. So as normal people grow up, children grow up, they learn to imitate words with more precision, more precisely, with more accuracy, with ease. It becomes easy for them. This is how people get rid of of born stuttering, and they develop speech mastery, the bottom line. They develop speech mastery and they begin speaking like all normal adults around them, all normal children around them, because they imitate the correct behavior, speaking behavior. Okay? So, how to overcome stuttering? Learn to speak according to the natural speech norms, which unfortunately only I and my mentor can teach you. No one is aware. Around the world, conventional speech practitioners are not aware yet of these norms. Norms, natural speaking norms of moving the tongue by ringtones. No one wants to know, because millions of stutterers keep struggling, keep coming to them, keep paying money, keep investing, keep going from one speech therapist to another one, from one ex-stammerer to another ex-stammerer, from one YouTube video to another YouTube video. It's a source of income for millions of people. Why would they be interested in learning how you can stop stuttering from 1 to 3 days with me? They don't want to learn anything. They still keep going with this lie that stuttering is a sickness, a life sentence, that you can only speak, then you need tips and tricks. I see what JK wrote. Simple tips, please, ma'am. For simple tips, go to speech therapists. They will give you a lot of tips. Breathe, do this, do that. It's just crazy what tips they give. I do not give tips. Tips are for stupid people. Bottom line, if you're smart, you got to come to your teacher and learn not tips. Learn how all people on the planet speak according to the way God created us. God, not people. People are stupid. We are dumb and stupid. We don't know much. What I teach is the technique created by Mother Nature, or God, if you believe in God. And every human on the planet is following this technique intuitively. Intuitively. Unfortunately, people who stutter do not have this intuition. They don't. This is why when they come to me, when I explain to them what the ringtone is, how they're supposed to move their tongue, and they, without asking questions, without doubting my words, they begin doing what I just explained to them, their stuttering disappear instantly. Do you understand the word instantly? Instantly. You stop using your mind and begin using your body, your tongue, and you're using it in the correct way. And guess what? Everything comes into place. You begin speaking normally, and you don't need any tips anymore. Okay? When you overcome stuttering at the age, you still didn't understand what I told you. Right? No one ever told me that I was a stutterer. No one ever told me that I am special and that I need speech therapy for learning to say words. No one lied to me that I was a stutterer, that I was an incurable stutterer. As I was learning and imitating humans' words, guess what? I was learning. I was training my tongue naturally. I was growing my speaking skills, just like all normal people on the planet. A child is listening to mommy and daddy, imitating mommy and daddy. Hopefully, mommy and daddy speak well. Hopefully, they are not stutterers. They are not speaking too quickly the way too many parents are doing it, okay? And the older they become, they go to a kindergarten. Over there, they imitate teachers. Then they go to school, again, teachers. They imitate. They learn new words, train their tongue. They learn to read according to ringtones. Unfortunately, no one teaches how to read according to the ringtones. That's where all the confusion comes from. They begin teaching you syllables, and we do not. We do not read by syllables. This is crazy. Okay? So, as I was learning, just like all people on the planet, I learned. I trained my tongue to move, and I don't make too many mistakes anymore. I speak well. Of course, sometimes I do stumble, but I know whenever I stumble, I know what to do. I go back to the natural speaking norms. Norms. I just go realize that I need time to recall the word, to select what word I want my tongue to create. I need time for that. And stutterers don't realize that they need time to select the word. Every time they speak, they have been trained by speech therapists to blend words. And this is stuttering. No one on this planet, in sane mind, even attempt to blend words. No one. Only stutterers and their trainers, speech therapists, speech pathologists, and so on. Okay, guys. So to answer your question, Ra, I was a stutterer, speech therapist. I was a stutterer, but I didn't know I was. No one told me. Do you understand me now? But each time I make a mistake, I immediately become a stutterer. I am a stutterer. If I make a mistake, I am a stutterer. And guess what? Any normally speaking person will become a stutterer if he's going to attempt to say the word that the tongue doesn't know yet. The tongue doesn't know yet how to say the word. Let's say, Ra, your first language is not English. Your first language is, let's say, Hindi. Because of the name, I am guessing that you are Indian. You live in India. Hi, Tarte Deepak. Thank you for joining. So imagine you don't speak English well and you come to, no, I don't know. See, I don't know you. I don't even know what example to give you. So let's say someone says the word and you want to repeat the word, but this is the first time you hear the word. Okay. Let me give you another example. I know for sure you don't speak Russian language. For sure. I give this example a lot when I communicate with my potential students one-on-one. Here, and by the way, JK, here is the tip for you. Is it possible to move your tongue if you don't know the word yet? If your tongue has not been trained to move, comment. Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable. Yeah. This is what I do whenever I'm not teaching. I am live. I go live. I do my best to do it every week on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm in Florida. It's Eastern Time in the United States of America. But I was busy working with students, so I couldn't be live for 2-3 weeks now. So here is my example for you. JK tutorial, and someone else asked me a question. Ra, oh, you asked the question. Here, someone, let's take the word. No, I'm going to give you the word right now. Okay, no, not from here. Oh, here. What is this? Can you say the name of this thing? What is this? tennis ball. Of course, it's two words, but I'm doing like one, tennis ball. Right? Let's do it even simpler. A ball, right? A ball. Can you do it? Repeat after me. A ball. Did you say it well? I don't know. I didn't hear you, but I think you did. Now, I want you to say the same word, but do it in Russian language. Can you say it? Say it in Russian language. Can you do it? I'm sure you can't. Because your tongue, not just because you don't know how it sounds, this is, of course, also the case, but your tongue doesn't know how to move. Let me give you the word in Russian. Mячик. Say it. Mячик. Repeat. Did you say it well? Ra. Did you say the word well? Was it easy for you to say the word? I don't know, you don't write to me, but I know for sure you're going to feel really weird. Mячик. What? What do you do? This is stuttering. When your tongue doesn't know yet how to move to say the word. And it's one of the two. Your tongue, you haven't learned how to move your tongue when you were a little boy, or you don't know as an adult, you don't speak Russian language, you don't know how to move your tongue to say the word in Russian language. That's it. And you don't even know how it sounds. Even though right now I gave you the word, mячик, repeat it. I think you did repeat, but maybe not exactly the way I did, right? You gotta understand how our tongue works. And in reality, our tongue works in a simple way. Mя, chi, ka. 3 ringtones, 3 movements of the tongue. 3. But if you were with me, we could have looked at the words that you consider difficult. And you would understand, you would have understood what it means to speak like all people on the planet. To move your tongue in the same way. Okay, guys, I gave myself a pledge not to stay longer than an hour, and I've been up for 1 hour 32 minutes. Lots of love to you. Once again, livestutterfree.com. Right, go there. Go to my website, livestutterfree.com. Subscribe. Register for my webinar. It's free. You don't need to pay a penny. Subscribe. Listen to my webinar. And then after you watch the whole webinar, it's about 40 something minutes. Then make a free Zoom call, or good for you. Okay. Ashwagnes Bright. Oh, really hard to say your nicknames. Okay. I am becoming a stutterer when I am reading your nicknames, because my tongue is totally not trained to say your names. See, Rito, did you hear how I was writing someone's name? Just join. Ashwagnes Bright. I'm a stutterer. I cannot say because my tongue doesn't know how to move. Yeah. So go to my website and simply listen to the webinar and then make a free video call. We can even have a video call on Instagram, but I prefer Zoom because I truly want you to watch my webinar so you would know what to ask, what questions to ask. Okay? Lots of love to you. Hopefully, yeah, Rito. So if I don't have a student on next Thursday, I'll be live next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Bye-bye.